Did you do your laundry while you were laundromat?
It was really sad Saturdays. Like, all right, I'm going laundromat to laundromat looking for pinball machines.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of No Coin Drop Required. This week we're going to be talking to Jon Tomsich, and I am so excited because Jon was one of the first people that I ever met when I first started playing pinball, and he has been such a nice person, such a knowledgeable person, and so willing to share his knowledge when it comes to pinball with anybody who's willing to listen. So I'm gonna stop right here because we talked about a lot of different things, not just with pinball, but also beer and a whole bunch of other stuff too. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So Jon, I'm so excited. Like we were talking about before we started, I don't think I've ever, I know we've, you know, mainly when we've seen each other, we've talked shop, right? You know, we've always talked shop. It's always been like before a tournament or during a tournament. We've never had time to like sit down and just chit chat with each other. And I'm so excited that you are hanging out with me today for the next probably like 2 hours, but we'll see. We'll see. So thank you so much for joining me, Tomsich. Yes, I will get it right one of these days. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be able to talk with you. I take most of the blame for us not talking or hanging out or talking about something other than the rules or strategy, because usually I'm so like in the zone thinking about it, my competitive side takes over, so that's what I usually talk about. So it's great to be able to relax, enjoy a beer, and just talk about pinball and whatever else comes up.
Well, and that's an interesting thing that you bring up, because right now is it's a transition time for us, right? Because, you know, right now all sanctioned events have been put on hold. There's no real actually competitive tournaments, so to speak, that are going on right now. And it's really gotten a lot of us back into the spirit of just playing pinball, right? So how is that really, you know, I can see you own a lot. I see you own a lot of machines. So how is this time where really competitiveness has been on hold kind of like reignited that spark of playing pinball?
It really lends itself to some soul searching. You're like, wait a second, why did I get into pinball in the first place? Am I in it for the right reasons? And do I need to reset my thinking every so often to make sure I'm actually enjoying my time playing? I don't know if we've talked about this, but I live in a small town called Roaming Shores, Ohio, which is in northeast Ohio, about an hour from Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm on a little lake town. I live in a lake house. So if I'm going to a pinball event, or if I'm really going to any pinball location, it's a 2-hour round trip for me. So with that in mind, I always tell myself, well, if I've got a league night or if there's a knockout tournament or something, I'm going there to win. I want to play well and I'm focused and, you know, this or that. And in addition to that, if I'm, you know, driving that far, unless I'm going to stay the night, I'm not going to be drinking because of that.
Right.
So I take it very seriously. Next thing you know, I drive home either really happy that I won or really upset that I should have shot this shot and I got eliminated with that. But did I really have fun? And during this time, I start thinking about, man, I really miss the social aspects of all the competitions. It's not, you know, the great shot I made or the jackpot I did or the great ball 3 to save the game that I missed. It's the talking about it and talking about what I should do, what I should have done better, and congratulating other players when I hear what they did on their game. And that's the thing I'm most excited about getting back to when we are able to get back to it. So yeah, it really has lent itself to re-examine what makes pinball so great and what makes the people of pinball so much fun to be around.
Yeah, and that's what, so you and I kind of like go back to actually when I first started playing, and I had to look up, and I've been quote unquote active for 4 years, but playing for about 5. And I remember the first time meeting you was at Stonehenge, which had to have been more than an hour drive for you down to Stonehenge.
Yep, that's about an hour drive. At the time, I was living in Youngstown.
Okay.
So it's still about an hour drive, 45 minutes to an hour from there. But again, still an investment going there, and it was early in my competitive pinball career, really, too.
Yeah, and I remember, I mean, okay, for those of you who don't know Jon, you can't miss Jon. I won't bring it up too much, but if you do know Jon, you can see him over everybody else. literally. And so I remember seeing you, but I think what stood out is that you were always higher up in the, the rounds, right? Because that was when they started doing the knockout series, and, you would come week after week, you and Tommy, Alec from Pittsburgh would come,
yep.
And then a couple of other people were always up there, and I'm like, man, all these people are so good. I'm never gonna be that good. That was like the age of like, I wasn't very good, I'm still learning, but you stood out as just somebody who was just so nice, and was so willing, and so wanting to help with me getting better, and I think that's kind of the same thing that I'm thinking of. The social aspect that I miss is I miss that, like, we're all here to get better. We're all here to, yes, it's competitive, but, let's help each other out. Let's chit chat. Let's talk. What could we have done? What could you have done better? And I think that's the spirit and the drive of why I love competing. Also, winning sometimes, but not.
Well, when you say that everybody wants to get better, that's one of my challenges. When I'm there, and I know I'm one of the better players there, and there are many people there that aren't there to play, to get better and to win that tournament. They're there to have a great time, play some pinball, and meet their friends. And it's a social activity for them. So I don't want to give some unsolicited advice like, just so you know, you had this lit, and if you did this, and this, and they didn't appreciate it. Add that to my 6'10" frame, and I don't want to come off as being intimidating. So I try to make sure that, somebody would be willing to hear some of the ideas and things about it. Then I'll be happy to provide my opinions about it. So it's trying to balance that, but there's nothing like the enthusiasm I get when I can see somebody gets excited about learning something new and wants to get better. So again, that's okay to ask you a question. What in pinball made you want to get better as a competitive player? Like what said, I'm not happy with just finishing middle of the pack every single week. I want to get better to the point where I should be in that final group.
Oh my gosh. Oh, me being asked the question. Okay. Well, I think it was just because, I've always been a competitive person in general, and that, I used to when I was a kid, and this will be a fun story. When I was a kid, if I knew I wasn't gonna win, I wouldn't play. And I think that pinball has really pushed that, good sportsmanship in me, right? Because it's really grounded me to know that, yes, I am a decent player. I'll admit that. I'm a decent player. I'm not the best. But I want to be. I want to compete knowing that I tried my hardest, and that there was everything that I could have done to try and, play the best game that I could play. It may not necessarily be winning, but I want to know that I played the best game that I could. And I think that that's really what my drive was, to try and continuously get better. And seeing, players like you, players like Tommy, players like Megan Brown, who are on the top of their game. To me, the top of their game all the time, I'm like, man, I want that to be me. And that just led to the socialite in me being like, getting to know you, and then wanting to have that advice of like, well, I don't necessarily know Paragon. Like, what should I be shooting for? What should I be doing? And then leading into that conversation. And so, like, that's what really, for me, pairs the competitiveness with the social aspect of, if somebody's willing to give me advice, I'm willing to listen, because I do want to get better. And I want to lose knowing that I played my best game, not knowing that I, was like, well, I just kind of gave up because I didn't know what I was doing. So. And
I think it's a great time to be involved in pinball, especially on a competitive level, because the answers are out there. Not just from the other tournament players that, you feel like you've got a good enough camaraderie and they're friendly enough to give you the answers, but there's a lot of great resources online right now. Places like pinballvideos.com, where you can watch a tournament game on Paragon and see this is what people are going for. People are using the tab pass. Well, they don't tab pass. What should I do? Should I do this or that? You can watch this and learn. I know that next week's tournament they just added this machine. What should I do on it? I'm gonna actually watch people play that game at a high level and learn from it. You've got great streaming options, things like that. So tournament pinball, other than the pandemic's in a great spot right now, and it's not that hard to get better if you're willing to get better.
So what resources do you use?
I definitely use something like pinballvideos.com
to
watch it's basically a database of all of the high quality streams of tournaments that have ever been done and recorded. And they've done a great job of breaking it down by game. You can look it up by game, you can look it up by player, you can look it up by tournament. So if I know I'm playing a game that I've never really played before, or I want to see a certain strategy, okay, I'm going to go see Stern's Stars, let's say, for instance. And I can watch Bowen's great tutorial.
Yes.
That's the #1 resource. First thing I'm going to do is watch that if there's one available.
Yep.
Next thing I want to do is see how players approach the game at different, ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. Go through that, the different shots they're going for. If they're completely avoiding one section of the playfield, then I know, okay, now I know not to worry about that. So those are the resources I use, and then, obviously I'm going to use some of my friends and ask them what's the best strategy. The other thing I'm going to do is find out about that one machine at that location and how is it playing. Basically, okay, how are the kickouts, playing? Is the dead bounce good? How are the rubbers? Things like that. So I want to know about that one particular machine.
So when you're walking into a tournament and you've done this research, right? So you've looked at the tutorials, you've tapped your friends for, hey, how do you play this game? You've maybe had access to a machine yourself where you can play it a little bit and try and figure out what your strategy is. But you're walking into a tournament, so for example, states, right? So you're walking into states, you have the opportunity to practice. What are some of the things or just the general strategies or things that you look out for when you're practicing on a machine that you know, but you don't really know it, right? So it's, like Ghostbusters, for example. Like, you know this machine, you've played it before, it's a pretty popular game. However, I've never played this Ghostbusters. So what are some of the things that you look for when you are practicing on a table that you know, but you haven't ever played that exact table before?
Well, no, I guess one of the first things I look for is if it's a game that has a skill shot that's important, I'm going to test the plunger. But no matter that, the real thing you want to look out for if you do have time on the machine is to test the tilt. Find out where that tilt bob is, give it a shake, see if you don't tilt using that. That's one of my favorite conversations we had. Before states, we went game to game and said, all right, during your 30 seconds of practice time, what should you be looking out for? I want to see the kick out here. I want to see how the feed is after I shoot the right orbit, for example. And I want to see the tilt. That's the sort of thing. I want to find the skill shot. I want to do this, or this. I want to have a checklist of 3 or 4 things. I want to find the left ramp with my right flipper. I want to do this. I want to see if it's backhandable still. Those sorts of things. So there's a checklist in my mind that I want to go through, because when I step up to the game, I want to try to have my mind be unfettered and just be able to play, and I know what I want to do already in my head. I just want to go out and do it, and I don't want to overthink it. I'd rather do all the thinking beforehand. That's the goal. It's really hard to do when you put a lot of pressures on yourself in a tournament like states or some of the major tournaments that you've prepared for, and you only get a few shots out a year.
So what's the most stressful tournament you've ever been in?
Well, most stressful tournament, my first ever Pinburg.
Okay, what year was that?
It was the most stressful because I had just a really solid first day. My whole #1 goal is to qualify A, which is a huge, lofty goal. There were 800 players that year, and I wanted to be in the top 200 after the first day. I did it, had a great day, put myself in good position, and then, the next day I had a really good day, put myself in a group where I had to have a really good score in my last group. Played 4 games, it's group match play kind of thing. And I got paired up in a tough group, including Kaylee George. I think he's former world champion, and I had to have, basically a first and a bunch of seconds and something unbelievable. And I don't know really what happened, but I absolutely came through and had an amazing game and made it to finals in Pinburg, my first ever Pinburg. Finals event. So I'm on stage at Pinburg, my first ever Pinburg, and I draw my first group, and I'm against Robert Gagno.
Oh my gosh!
Former world champion. He's in my group. And what was great, I had Steven Klute was in my group too.
Oh, Steve! Yep.
Great. We're sitting there talking strategies.
We're birthday buddies. Steve and I have the same birthday.
Awesome.
Yep.
Really good guy, really great player.
Yes.
So we're up there on stage looking at each other like, well, let's just play.
Yeah.
We ended up both advancing, which is amazing. We somehow, advance out of that round, and I go into the next round. And if I survive this next round, I'll be in the top 16, and I'll be on the stream and quarterfinals, all these things. Have a great first few games, everything broke wrong for me. I had a high-pressure game of Total Nuclear Annihilation that was being projected, where I had ball 3 and I was going to be able to steal both clocks, just couldn't start it. Ended up in a playoff for the final spot in the quarterfinals.
On what game?
About as high-pressure situations I've been in, I ended up finishing in 17th place.
What game was it?
The tiebreaker game was on Star.
Okay.
It's an EM. It's now my least favorite game of all time.
Oh, no.
But I was happy to be there. I was excited to be there. I wasn't nervous. It didn't have anything but nerves. But it's just the idea that, you know what, I might not have another chance to be here, so I got to take as much advantage of it and play well and play strong and be confident. And I had a great time doing it. So I don't know if I'll ever get back there, but it was a lot of fun just being there. So that's the most pressure I put on myself, is just the idea of, hey, I'm only a few rounds away from winning Pittsburgh. If everything and everything does this, and then you got a chance. So it was still a great experience and a lot of fun.
I hope to be there one day. This year, well, I was hoping that, so I set 5 goals for myself every year for pinball. This year, my goals have kind of been thrown out the window, but that's okay. We can adapt them for next year. But this year, my goal was just to qualify for A finals, not A finals, just A finals, you know. And because last year I qualified for the everybody else division, so I was in E division last year. I had a decent first day, and then I started off real strong on my Friday, but then it just kind of went downhill from there. So I was so pumped to like prove myself this year, and then, you know, everything happened. But the good news is we don't have to go through the stress out next year of trying to get in. So, you know, I know it's a very selfish thought to think, but, you know.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, I think, is just the ultimate pinball tournament that there is. With all those different games, all those different formats, that many players, that many machines in great shape. It's just the absolute pinnacle, and it's just so inclusive. That,
yes.
You know, for being a major championship, it's not out of the realm of possibility for someone to just go and have fun and play.
Yes.
I would encourage every single level player to go and have fun and compete.
Yeah, I think it's you know, it's definitely up there with some of the top tournaments that I've played in. I can't get past Klepen. Like, Klepen is the first expo I've ever been to. I always have so much fun. It's, you know, it's a big enough tournament that it draws in, a good crowd, but it's still small enough that you're just like, oh, it has such like a homely feel to it. So Klepen was the first expo that I'd ever been to, and I just have so much fun. It's such a fun crowd. It's a fun location. It's such a great time going there. Is that okay? So what is your favorite expo then?
Well, see, so you're talking favorite tournament. Now it's really interesting. I bet you don't know this about me either. Is that I've played in. I've lived in a lot of different places. So I've played in the Modern Pinball, the Super League out of New York City.
Okay.
When I lived in Long Island. I played the New England Pinball League for a couple seasons.
Okay.
As well, when I lived up in Boston. But my probably other favorite expo/tournament is the battle at Sanctum.
Sanctum.
24-hour battle at Sanctum. I was there for the first 2 ever held, and again, it's as much pinball as you can handle. It's one after the other, which I absolutely love. And the truth is, the time passes quickly because you're always playing and you're looking forward to another round. It's not like, all right, I played, 2 rounds and this tournament's done, or something like that. It's just, It feels like nonstop pinball, which was a lot of fun. And again, great variation. It's like a mini Pinball compressed into 24 hours.
That was
decent showings, and it was just a lot of fun. Again, a very social atmosphere where people are either really competitive or just having a lot of fun, hanging out. And it's also, I think, one of my favorite locations is the Sanctum. A great community co-op, just a great place, very sociable. The organizers are just great. Jim Swain is a great guy, so I miss that tournament and that location a lot.
So my goal was actually, one of my goals this year was to do Sanctum. So I had like a mini, so we did the 24-hour women's tournament, and that was the first 24-hour tournament that I did. And you're right, it went by really fast, and I don't know why. I don't know if it went by really fast because of just the constant pinball, or that I was being pulled in like 7 different directions as the organizer at the same time. But it was a lot of fun, and if anybody hasn't done a 24-hour tournament, definitely do one, because it's super duper fun. But the Sanctum was one that I was really, really looking forward to this year, and I still think it's on the fence, right? I don't know if they've...
Yeah.
Because the tickets haven't gone on sale yet, from my knowledge.
Right.
Or I missed out on it and I'm not doing it this year. We'll see. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know. We'll see.
I highly recommend it to anyone. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. You, obviously you're a beer person. So, like, what breweries in the area are you looking forward to being there?
Now, I promise that we didn't set this up, but...
we didn't set anything up, I promise you.
I was not going to let this pass at any moment in the interview or our conversation without talking about Birdfish Brewing in Columbia, Ohio, which is just south of Youngstown. I'm not just saying that because I have to, because they are my official pinball sponsor. So they sponsor me in all the tournaments. Everybody asks, well, what do they give you? They give me quarters and quarters. Yes. So, you know, they often do t-shirts, so you'll always see me in a Birdfish shirt, hat, playing in tournaments and things.
As you are wearing one now.
Yes, I per my contract. I don't want to run out of quarters or quarters from that. Yeah, they've got a great location as well. Keith Campanelli is a good friend of the brewery there. So he's got usually between 8 to 10 high-quality machines on location at their tasting room.
I love, and I don't know if you've had a chance to go down to Madcap, but Madcap has and they have a non-IFPA league that I believe has over 50 people, which is just, that is amazing to me. I think it's like I told you.
JJ's one of those members.
On cue, yes.
Yes.
Hey, Bubba's. Hey, you're okay. But yes, Madcap's got a non-IFPA league that meets, I believe, it was every Tuesday. I'm sure they'll probably start things up. And it's a great opportunity where if you want to be competitive with pinball, but like, there's no IFPA points involved. And I believe they play for beer, right? They play for beer and bragging rights.
There's a little more than bragging rights, but it's not IFPA, so it's reaching a meet. What's really awesome about it is that they have their league, and what they do is they take their top 16 people that they take. I think it's a 6-week league, and they take the top 4 results. You be there any 4 weeks. They add up your results, and the top 16 qualify for the finals. Well, we've made it the Northeast Ohio Brewery Challenge. So those top 16 from Madcap go against at Birdfish in Columbiana. Will go up against the top 16 from their league, non-IFPA, for the exact same thing. So I participated in these first 2 challenges. So again, it's a 6-week league. What's really fun, when this first happened 2 seasons ago, the Madcap crew got a party bus from Madcap to Birdfish.
Stop it!
And we did doubles. So the number 1 and 16 seed at Madcap.
Okay.
Their best player, their 16th grade player, played as a team against, I think it was the 8th and 9th.
So it was like a high-low almost.
High-low, but it was add up your scores. So you play a 4
Oh!
The 2 players from Madcap and the 2 players would play a best of 3 on 1 game, add up the scores on each 1 game, but the whole theme, all of that part was secondary to purely fun.
Yeah!
The bus was loaded with beers. We welcomed them with beers when they came in there. We had a ton of fun. It was just a great time.
See, and this goes back to like not just being competitive, but like the social aspect of pinball, and like the reason why I started playing was to have fun with, people who share a same common interest of me, and that I knew a little bit about that. I didn't know it was Birdfish that was almost like sister or rivalry, however you want to call it. But doesn't Alec come to Birdfish and play in the non?
Birdfish, even though he's not of legal age, he does not drink.
Right.
But he does come. He is a Birdfish member, but he's never won. His team has never won. So it's not. Yeah. But he knows it's all about fun, and it makes it really great. It's my favorite part about this particular league, the non-IFPA, is that, yes, it's about fun, but what it really does is introduce a lot of people who would never be in a pinball league to start playing pinball in an organized manner. Whether they're going to be competitive players or not doesn't matter. They're going to be there every week having fun, having a few beers, playing some pinball and talking with people, and it's great for the breweries, it's great for the players, it's great, for pinball. It's just a winning situation all the way around.
Yeah, and I love, because I believe Matt and Candor are the ones who helped to organize the Madcap League. And, when they were telling me, they would constantly, right before I moved, or after I moved down to Columbus, be telling me, we've got 50 people, and it's not even, a sanctioned event. I was like, that's freaking awesome. That, there's 50 people who just genuinely have an interest in playing pinball, and that just want to have fun, want to drink, want to play some pinball, and like you said, it's a great segue into if you want to play competitively, this is somewhat the manner that it is, but if not, keep coming back and having fun, and let's just play and drink and have a good time, which is the heart of pinball itself, is let's drink and have, well, maybe not let's drink, but let's just have a good time, right?
Well, pinball wouldn't survive if it was only competitive pinball. Pinball wouldn't survive. There would be no pinball manufacturers if all that mattered was competitive pinball. But the heart of pinball is location pinball and people at home and bringing in social gatherings.
So
and
what?
Pinball is built off of it.
So what are some of your favorite locations?
Well, obviously Birdfish is my favorite location only because that's the home bar and they've got 8 to 10 great machines. The Sanctum is up there again, but that's like a social club, and I love how that is. Maybe the one I'm most proud of, another thing you might not know about, Pinball Map, that app. I don't know if you've heard about that app.
Oh, yeah. I use it religiously.
About 5 years ago, I moved to Youngstown.
Okay.
From Boston. And a buddy of mine was here. I'm originally from Ohio, though. A buddy of mine who lived in Youngstown, and when I got here, he knew I was big into pinball, and we decided, all right, we're going to go from bar to bar and try to find the pinball machines that are just out there in the wild, just for the heck of it. It's a great reason just to, hey, there's the bar over there, let's find out if they have a pinball machine. If not, we just walk out.
I love that you used into the wild, in the wild, because that came up in another episode that I'm like, people use this term of oh my gosh, this is in the wild. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So they're just out there. So we have a great time because it gave us both an excuse to, I've seen that bar before, let's just walk in and see it. So basically we walked in every bar in Youngstown, found out where these were, put them in a spreadsheet. All of a sudden I realized there's this app, and I reached out and said, hey, you don't have a region for Youngstown, Ohio. I've already found 23 machines in 18 locations. I'm ready to put them in if you give me the access. And they said, yep, go for it as long as you're going to keep up. So I was the site administrator for Youngstown, went back to the head regions. So I was really excited about it. It kind of went crazy because I was at one bar, and the owner of the machine that put it on location was there. I was talking to him, real excited, and he said, yeah, I've also got some machines and some laundromats. So it kind of devolved to the point where I'd spend a Saturday with my buddy laundromat hopping. Looking for pinball machines, and as a matter of fact, yes, I am single. Yes.
Did you do your laundry while you were laundromat?
It was really sad Saturdays. All right, I'm going laundromat to laundromat looking for pinball machines, but we found a bunch there. So the reason I'm telling this whole story about Pinball Map, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a random user added a location in Sharon, Pennsylvania, which is 15-20 minutes from Youngstown, just across the border.
Yep.
And I look, and there's 22 games there. And I'm like, wait a second, wait, this can't be real, what's going on? I was like, I gotta check this location out. I couldn't do it at the moment, I forget why I was busy. A week later, it went up to 28 games. And I'm like...
You were at the laundromat. You were trying to find laundromats.
Yes. Yes. And so I'm like, what's going on there? I don't know. All right, that's it. I just gotta go check this place out in Sharon. It's nice in downtown Sharon. I looked it up in Google, and it was a vape shop, and I'm like, I don't understand this. So I show up there, and you walk in, and it's a vape shop, and then on the other side, there's 30 pinball machines.
Stop it.
In unbelievable condition, in one room, open for play. And you're like, wait, what is happening?
No. Like it was on free play?
Not on free play.
Okay.
But it was on and everything else, but there's a backward, side room.
Yeah.
Where you're like, it's just heaven. You're like, this just doesn't show up. How does this happen? 30 machines in pristine condition, some A-list titles, some B-list titles, but still amazing. You're just like,
yes.
This is crazy. So I'm there playing and finally meet the owner and start talking, and his name is, is Eric Thomas, really great guy, and, he's a talker as well, so I was there to pinball. He got hooked because he saw Wizard of Oz one time somewhere, and he's the kind of guy who, all right, I like pinball now, I'll buy I'm in.
Every name that's out there, I'm getting it.
Right. Next thing you know, he's got 50 machines. I'm running a brand new league there, IFPA league, doing all these things. It's called Retro Arcade in Sharon, Pennsylvania. That part is closed now during the pandemic, but they're doing really well. But again,
wow.
He's got a P3 multimorphic. He's got every spooky game.
Did he snag a Rick and Morty?
He has the Rick and Morty's in hand right now.
Oh, he does?
He has the Rick and Morty's right there. Again, I highly recommend to anybody who call ahead and make sure they're open and available. But his lineup is unrivaled for being able to play.
I think I know where our follow-up episode is going to be at.
It's a phenomenal place. Again, he's trying to support pinball. Really excited about it. It's turned into, you can ask, Don Johnson in Cleveland,
yeah,
and all these people. I yell at them and say, hey, don't list a pinball machine for sale without calling Eric first. Because there's a good chance he's gonna want that. He'll ask questions, doesn't happen. So, just a guy who really loves pinball, is really passionate about getting people from the community to start playing. And yeah, he's not making money on these pinball machines because the way he's buying them in this pristine condition, you just can't. It's all about the love for him.
Yeah.
To see him do that and to see the love of pinball and bringing in people from the community who never played pinball kind of makes that my favorite location. Again, it's Retro Arcade in Sharon, Pennsylvania.
I've never heard of it. I know I've been to Sharon before. I feel like, is there like an outlet mall or something there?
There's an outlet mall there.
Yeah.
This is right downtown Sharon, PA, which doesn't mean that, you don't look for the tall buildings or anything. But,
right. Oh, yeah, no. I get it. Yeah, I feel like, I've been to Sharon before for one reason or another. Because, I grew up in Northeast Ohio and, going back and forth from Pittsburgh because my family's a Steelers fan. So, we went to Pittsburgh a lot. So, and I feel like anytime my mom wanted to go shopping, she'd be like, let's go to the outlet malls in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania because there's no tax. There's no tax on clothing there. So she was like, let's go there. So I know it wasn't Erie, but I'm pretty sure Sharon sounds super familiar. So I may have to check that out.
Again, he's got just about any game you can imagine. Pirates, and like I said, the multimorphic, he had an Oktoberfest, Houdini.
But does he have your favorite game?
Does he have my favorite game? That's a tricky one. So, technically, if I want to be, really specific, my favorite game ever, I found out about it when I was either 3 or 4 years old.
Okay. It was Space Cadet 3D, wasn't it?
It was not. I was that young. I'm older than that. But my parents made me close my eyes. I was 3 or 4 years old and we walked downstairs.
Should I close my eyes right now? I'm going to close my eyes right now.
No. So, I closed my eyes. I took a step up on a step stool, and I opened my eyes, and in front of me was a Spirit of 76.
Oh, wow. I played that one at Pinburg, not in a round, but I played it at Pinburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played it at Pinburg last year, too. Yeah, it was good. I loved being able to play that there. So that was my first ever pinball machine. I played the heck out of it every morning. I thought it was amazing. I could hit all these drop targets. I was doing this and that. I was like, I think I'm one of the best players out there. I can really play this. Yeah, I'm a kid. I don't know any better.
Yeah.
And I eventually got into competitive pinball when I actually saw people who could play. Doing skills that I never even heard of or dreamed of. Yeah, I could use my right flipper to hit that exact target. I'm good like that, but I didn't know you could pass the ball. I didn't know you could catch all these different things. I'm like, wow, now I'm really interested. So that's my sentimental favorite machine.
Okay.
Twilight Zone is up there maybe as just such a groundbreaking, really cool machine. It's hard in my mind to top that. We're talking about if I can only own one machine and I have to play it every single day, it might be Jersey Jack Pirates. This just feels
okay.
Decent. There's a lot there.
I just watched On Stranger Tides the other day for the first time.
See, now I haven't seen any of the films.
You haven't? Okay.
I have not.
I would recommend at least watching the first one.
Okay.
The other, like, so, The Curse of the Black Pearl is the first one, but then you've got Dead Man's Chest, and then you've got, I forget what the third one is. But then On Stranger Tides was like the fourth one, where they're like, this series is doing really good. And then it just kind of like fell flat. It was okay, it wasn't good, but the first one I would recommend doing. But the game itself, so I had a friend, and I would love to hear your opinion on this. So I had a friend, he's still my friend, but he was somebody he played a little bit, I don't know, do you remember Kyle? Blonde Kyle, Kyle Tartar. You might, if you saw him, you might remember him. But, so he had this theory that if he was playing a game that had a movie, that was like a movie theme, if he saw the movie, he could play the game better. And he first came to that conclusion with Tron. So he's like, I gotta watch Tron Legacy. I'm not gonna know how to play the table if I haven't watched Tron Legacy. So do you agree with that theory of you play a game better if you've seen the movie or the TV show that it's associated with?
What I would say is you might be more attached to play that game more because you have a feeling towards that particular theme, which makes you better at it. I wouldn't agree with that part of it, or else there would be no Grand Champion scores on The Shadow.
I've never seen The Shadow. I've never seen The Shadow.
Right, yeah, so nobody would ever have a high score on it because nobody's seen that movie. So I would have to use that as my reason why not. That just doesn't check out to me.
So why are you so drawn to Pirates if you've never seen the Pirates movies before?
Right. Well.
Wait. Let me clarify something for a second. Is it Jersey Jack Pirates or is it Stern?
Jersey Jack.
Okay, so Jersey Jack Pirates. So why are you so drawn to it if you've never seen it before?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question. To me, what draws me to a pinball machine, what I look for, and part of this is because I'm a competitive player, is the playfield and the shots. So basically playfield shots and the code. So I want great shots and give me a reason to shoot every single shot.
Yes.
That's what I'm really looking for out of a pinball machine. The art, you know what, I really think the art's never been better right now in pinball. Some of the themes are awesome. I mean, I love Stranger Things. I think Deadpool is hilarious. All the things, you know, music is amazing. I love what you can do with Pinball Browser and even customize your own, you know, music in there. But to me, what has staying power for me in my game room is great shots, great layout, and a reason to hit those shots. And, you know, again, you talk about something like Paragon, which is an absolute classic.
Yep.
And there's some great shots in the game, and the you know, playfield is as wide as I am tall, but there's only a few shots that you actually want to shoot in that game. So it's a shame in that way. Even though it's still a classic, you know,
yep.
The playfield's wasted.
Yeah.
So to me, to have staying power, it isn't necessarily the theme, it's necessarily the music or the art, but I understand why a lot of people feel that way, especially in their own game room.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't own an Iron Maiden machine because they don't like the music. Meanwhile, it's one of the, you know, the greatest games ever made for a competitive player. So,
yes. Yeah. Well, I love the music of Iron Maiden. That happened to be the first table that I chose to get. So it's such an interesting time right now, and there's so many resources that are out there, and there's so many people that are doing so many different things, and like it really kind of makes me think, like, what do you think the future of pinball actually looks like?
It's an exciting thing to think about. And it's really hard to try to guess at what it's going to look like. One of the things I'm most excited about, seeing Stern hire so many great pinball players who really love pinball. I know there was kind of this fear maybe 10, 15 years ago that it seemed like all the greatest game developers, game coders in all the companies were 55 to 65-year-old men. They were just, you know, like, listen, what's the future of pinball if at some point, and then what? Well, so far we're seeing now that some of the best players are getting into this as their profession. And pinball people, whether you're, a competitive player or just a social player, have got to be excited because they have passionate people that have, turned their career into producing great and fun games. And we're seeing it so far. Just a couple years ago, I always, wanted to say, I think it was 2 years ago, it felt like the year of the rookie, where the best machines were made by first-time designers, in my mind. We had Keith Elwin, of course, coming out with Iron Maiden. We had Scott Denisi coming out with Total Nuclear Annihilation.
Yep.
Revolutionary machine, really cool to see. And then you had Eric M. from Jersey Jack Pinball coming out with Pirates. All in the same year, all first-time designers coming up with absolutely killer machines with great code, great theme integration that's just going to carry on. And then to see Stern hire people like Raymond Davidson and Tim Sexton, people who are so passionate about pinball, it is their life. And it's going to carry on this tradition. So, at my age, I feel like I missed the boat, and I have to live vicariously through these other pinball players.
Stop it! You're not that old.
Oh, that's nice of you to
You're
say.
You're not.
But now I turn to people like Alexander Kuzmarchuk, who you talked about earlier.
Yes.
Who's an amazing player, brilliant kid, 17 years old, and right now, his career path, he's thinking about becoming a patent lawyer. And so I talked to him and his dad, and I said, listen, maybe think about a degree in some engineering, electrical engineering, which is a great degree. You can do anything with that degree, but you're seeing other people doing some great things in pinball. That, hey, you can try this, doesn't work out, you've always got a great degree to fall back on. So I'm trying to talk him into it only because I never did it. So it's a little bit of to see people who are passionate about pinball get into pinball as a career, we're in a great place. The other thing I'm really excited about pinball, and we're seeing some changes made, is I think that the machines can kind of turn into their own system, their own video game.
Okay.
So one new machine, kind of let's say Jurassic Park is like a PlayStation, let's call it like that.
Okay.
Where we've got a bunch of games within that one game. And that's why I love Vanity High Scores, where you start talking about, all right, this mode has a high score, this mode has a high score.
Yep.
So that if I own a machine, I'm not going to get sick of it because, all right, when I push the start button, I'm going to go for this high score. I'm going to go for this mode. I'm going to go for this. And I love what Keith Elwin did with Escape Nublar is a whole new game.
Yes, because you can just play that, yeah.
With, every different every different reactor has a certain time that I can go for.
Yep.
I have all these different things, and I think it started with Assault on the Vault from Safecracker, where there are different modes and things. These different things that keep games being fresh. And I think the future of pinball really lies in code and making games interesting and giving you reasons to do different things every time you start the game. I love the new co-op mode in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's obviously been done before, but to see it done in a different way just presents again a way for these games to stay fresh and to stay in your collection for longer periods of time. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk with you about, I know I'm excited about the Pin Broom show. One of the things I'm really excited about is because it's happening just outside of Youngstown, Ohio. There's not a lot of people that know about pinball and how it pertains to Youngstown and the history there. So first off, the first ever pinball show, Pinball Expo, was put on by two people from Youngstown.
Oh.
Everybody knows that. The pinball show was basically invented by two people from Youngstown. It was held in Chicago, but Mike Pasak and Rob Burke put on the first ever pinball show. So there's some history there in Youngstown. What I'm really proud of, and I want to bring it up because I've got issues with the title of your show. What's the title of your show again?
No coin drop required. So
the first ever coin-operated pinball machine was invented in Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, really?
Coin-operated pinball machine. Invented. So we're talking about history of pinball.
Yes.
It's called Wiffle by Automatic Industries. Way back, Arthur Pollen came up with the first ever coin-operated pinball machine. So that's why I always wanted to have a show in Youngstown to kind of celebrate that history. I want Birdfish to eventually get a Wiffle machine. Again, it's flipperless. We're talking about just pins out there.
Yeah.
But they added that coin Mac to make this a money-making machine.
Yeah.
And So when you say no coin drop required, you're kind of taking out the history of Youngstown. So.
Oh no, I don't mean to do that. Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding with you.
No, I appreciate it, and I know that we chit-chatted because the origins of like what this originally was called, back when I first started, and then I was frantically trying to come up with a name to redo it right before like the first episode happened, and I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, well, if people want to, do something with pinball, but they don't want to, there's nothing that's like required, I'm like, oh, it's no coin drop required, let's go ahead and go with it. And then like literally like the day after I posted my show, John sent me this like super awesome, like, here's just an idea for you, and I'm like, oh no, I already named it. Like,
I was like, that's fine, I was just excited.
I know, I was like, oh, I should have done it.
Here's an idea, you don't have another.
So yes, so maybe we can name like the seasons, different seasons, right? So this will be like the note.
That'll be the name of our beer cocktail barcade.
Yes, I like it. It's coming to a area near you in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
When we have investors, I'm gonna name some people here. But yes. No, I love it. Like, I love your spirit. I love that even though you are a competitive person, you're still like, you know what, let's get back to the roots. Let's really try and think about like why all of us play and all the resources that are out there for us in general. And so as we wrap things up, is there any final thoughts or anything that you want to, like I always say, convey to the masses before we end today's episode?
Feels like we've talked about a lot, and I'm excited about just the future of pinball. One thing we haven't really talked about is the it's late in our show, so I've had a couple beers.
It's okay.
The growth of new groups into pinball, and watching your show with Lauren, and seeing the success of Bell and Chimes and getting other people involved. And that's going to be the key to the future of pinball. I talk about this being the golden age of pinball, and it's not just because of the great machines or code or all these other things. It's more about everything being more inclusive now and being more welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't always been the case in pinball. And now it feels like we're moving in that direction. And I'm really excited about it that, we've got younger people joining. We've got women's leagues. We've got amateur leagues. We've got pro leagues,
Mm-hmm.
IFPA leagues, non-IFPA leagues. We have beer drinking leagues, non-beer drinking leagues. It's bringing as many people. And I think the wider we cast our net, the more pinball players we'll find, the better our hobby is going to be, the better the social aspects, competitive aspects, the more pinball machines are going to be made. Everybody's going to win. And it's really exciting
Mm-hmm.
time to be involved in pinball. Again, I talked about, the new hires and some of the new, the manufacturers are coming out with just great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting. And when you go on places like Pinside or some of the other places, you can feel, kind of down. There's a lot of negativity. But the truth is, a lot of great things are happening. And once the pandemics are kind of lifted and the quarantines lifted, it really might, the social aspects of pinball might really hit a peak. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. And in my mind, the competitive aspects are going to fall by the wayside compared to being with some of my friends that I've missed. All over the state of Ohio and all over the pinball community. So that's what I'm really most excited about.
I think you make a really great point because I actually didn't think about that. That yes, I'm really excited for competitive pinball to come back, but I'm more excited to see, I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see everybody from Cleveland, from Cincinnati, from Ohio, from Chicago, Pittsburgh, like all these people that I usually see at expos that I look forward to seeing. It's really gonna make me, this time has really opened my eyes to like how much I actually value the social aspect of pinball that I think that a lot of us maybe overlooked before. And that, we went there and we're like, yes, we're at Pinburg and we're here and we're competing. But, we really overlooked the fact that like, I'm here because I'm seeing all these people who I don't get to see on a regular basis. And like, these are my pinball friends that I see all the time. And hey, how are you doing? And like, let's catch up and like really, really, solidify us in the fact that this is a social sport. Like we here, yes, we want the points, we want the whoppers, we want the competitiveness, we want the trophies, we want that. But at the end of the day, like so many of my friends that I have, you know, you being a great example, you know, it wouldn't have came or wouldn't have happened if, you know, we weren't at those competitive tournaments. And like, that's the things I think we should value and really look to, and, you know, really again, see how things are going to adapt and change once we go back to what would be considered a new normal, almost.
Sure. And I think we're more excited about organized pinball, not just competitive pinball.
Right.
I think organized.
I like that. I like that term a lot better. Organized pinball.
Yeah. Organized pinball to bring everybody together and have a great time. And it's going to be a huge party for months on end of just us getting together. And it's going to make me drive. Oh, sure, I'll drive to Columbus. Sure, I'll drive to Cleveland. Sure, I'll drive these places if I know there's going to be a great turnout of people that I miss and people are going to be having a great time. You know, no matter what the game is, whether we're playing Orbiter 1 or playing Spirit of 76.
Orbiter 1, I'm telling you, if we can find Orbiter 1 in the wild, that's...
In the wild.
In the wild.
That's like Bigfoot. That's Sasquatch. Good luck with that.
Is there still one at Super Electric, or did they get rid of it?
It's a great question. I don't know. I hope Super Electric's doing well. I just don't know.
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, interesting to see.
So the key is, again, those that are going to be still out there, we've got to support them.
Yes.
When we're able to support them, make sure you support location pinball. It matters for the whole hobby. They're going out on a limb for us. We got to do what we can for them.
Yeah, and I think like now's a great time right now if we can't go out on location. If you know locations that stream, if you know locations that sell merch or anything like that, any way that we can support, you know, those businesses is, you know, this is a great time and a great opportunity to do that. So, but John.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that I got to talk to you. We've never gotten to like talk like this before. So, John, I'm so excited that you were able to join me today. I cannot wait to come and hang out with you, whether it be up at your lake house or whether it be up at Happy Dog or Super Electric or over in Sharon. What was it? I'm blanking on Retro Arcade. I think that's going to be our follow-up. Our follow-up is going to be at Retro Arcade because that just... He made that place sound like a dream, right? Like
it really is a dream. The tricky part is it's going to be a 4-hour episode because Eric's not going to stop talking.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
In the best way possible.
Yes. So I'm excited. I'm glad that you're doing well. I'm glad that you're adapting as well as we can. You know, we'll definitely, again, we'll be playing together soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that if anything comes up, you let me know.
Will do. Thanks so much for doing this. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
John, thank you so much again for joining me this week. I had so much fun talking to you. I learned so much. I definitely picked up some new resources that I'm going to be using to help to improve my skills, as well as I really enjoyed the history lesson when it comes to Youngstown and pinball. So again, thank you so much for sharing. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video that you saw today, make sure you hit that like button, as well as don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you know when new videos get posted. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will make sure to see you next time. Bye!